Councilwoman Keys.
Uh, Mr. Jour, we have 3,000 allocated for tenant-based rental assistant program. Is that for one resident?
The total amount is usually about 1,500, so I would say between 2 to 3 is what we see on average each year.
So does our city have any other rental assistance programs?
We
What-
don't,
Or
just
any
under the
other-
federal. Go ahead, Mr. Manager.
I was going to add on the record, this has become an increasingly heavy issue for the city. Individuals who are, I would say, temporarily homeless
Displaced,
or displaced.
catastrophes?
So what we've been doing is I've been working with the staff. One of the things I've realized in that process is, through the homeless trust, there is dollars, millions of dollars available, but we have to take them through that intake process. The other thing I was going to do as part of the budget that we're going through the process now is identify some funds that we will perhaps be able to temporarily house somebody at a hotel for 3 days, and then try to get them through the funding sources that we know to be available. Actually, I think all the ESG funds are now going through the homeless trust
Correct.
for the county as a whole. So that's kind of the plan that I have mapped out.
Okay.
So this is allocating what we're getting from the federal in that one program, or as much as we can, and then we'll have that additional funding that I'll bring for full consideration of the board.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman DeSolme.
Yes, sir. My question was basically about the home tenant-based program, but another question, the first-time home buyer, is it a proposed amount, or is there something where we could increase that particular amount?
It's a proposed amount.
Okay.
That's what's presented.
So these numbers, Mr. Manager, are you also looking at first-time home buyer program while you're looking at the home-based rental assistant program as well?
Actually, because this is home dollars, I'm not looking to, other than the rehab program that we already subsidize from general fund and from CRA, I've not looked at any other programs.
Okay, because I do think that we might be able to do something as a city, not only to assist the rental assistant, but also to increase the first-time home buyers, even if we, through the general fund, through the city manager's office, et cetera, et cetera. Yes.
Councilman Desmond, we also have the housing manager here, so I'm going to have her talk
Yes.
a little bit about the funding on the state side. We're just talking
Okay.
about federal right now.
Absolutely.
for this
Oh, we do
proposal,
have,
but she has background information on the
perfect.
state
Okay.
program. So Marie, if you want to
Go ahead.
respond on.
Marie France, Jean Ferrance, Housing Manager. We do have funds allocated to the state program, the SHIP,
Okay.
for first-time home buyer.
Awesome.
So we just set aside that little amount of money in the case that the person qualify under the SHIP. We can also assist them as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jean Ferrance. Thank you, Councilman DeSolme.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Councilman Biename, any questions? No questions. All right. Is there a motion from council to approve the item?
Just a quick question before.
Oh.
Devin Thomas,
We're not
editor
there.
here. Oh,
That's the next item.
okay.
Yeah, we're on
right, right.
K.
Yeah.
All right. There was a motion from Councilman DeSolme to approve tab K. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Keys. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Measure passes 4-0.
I
And
must
now-
say,
Huh, what?
you're doing a great job, Scott. You make my job a lot more easier. Thank you. All right,
Thank you.
tab J.
Thank you, Ms. City Clerk. All right, tab J. Yes, Mr. Clerk.
Proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the award of fiscal year 2017 through 2018 Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, funds to not-for-profit community-based organizations, CBOS, as required by 2 CFR 200.458, and providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Thank you again, Tanya Wilson Sejour with Community Planning and Development. Staff is requesting that the mayor and council review all proposals for community-based organizations who submitted requests for fiscal year 17-18 CDBG funding and review staff recommendations for the award to render a final approval. So we just approved the resolution for the action plan. This now is a request for award for the CBOs. Under the federal guidelines, the city is allowed to set aside 15% of its total allocation for public service. And the public service covers anything that's community service related to assisting youth, anything that would assist with crime prevention, those types of categories is what you typically see. So this year, the city received 12 requests for awards based on the review that was done by the award panel. 10 of the 12 have been recommended for award. I just want to go through briefly the criteria that's set aside by the federal government in determining the agencies that are worthy for award, so at least we understand from the public standpoint what the criteria is based on. Criteria 1 says the project is eligible and meets the 3 national objectives, that it principally benefits low and moderate income persons, it prevents or eliminates slum or blight, and it addresses an urgent need or problem in the community. Second criteria says the project fits into the community priorities set out by the City of North Miami's fiscal year 15 to 2019 consolidated plan. The third one says that there's prior experience with CDBG related activities and or prior experience with other grant programs and proven record of carrying out similar projects in the community. The fourth says the financial capacity and financial stability as indicated by funding sources and amounts over time, that the agency has adequate staffing, and then the last criteria says organizational strength. So typically each year there's a panel that's put together that evaluates each of the proposals. The evaluators are from the Parks Department. We have folks from City Attorney's Office, folks from Public Works, from Finance. We don't have anyone specifically from CP&D, just to avoid a conflict of interest. Based on those recommendations, what you have in your packet are the scores and the ranking of each of the proposals. As I mentioned before, there were 12 requests for funding and only 10 recommended for award. Okay, only 9 recommended for award. So staff is presenting that before the council at this time. It went before Planning Commission. Planning Commission supported staff's recommendation and forwarded that item on to City Council for final consideration. We have the CBOs that are here tonight and are prepared to make brief presentations if the chair would so like to have those presentations, or clarification if there is anything that needs to be clarified based on the submittals made to the city.
Thank you, Ms. Sejour. Before we open it to our Thank you, Ms. Sejour. Before we open it to our community groups to come forward and make a 2-minute presentation, it's my understanding that one or more of the council members may want to declare a conflict on this item. So I wanted to find out if any of the council members wish to declare a conflict.
I would.
Councilwoman Keys, are you on?
Yes.
Okay.
Serving on as a director of the North Miami Foundation for Senior Citizens, I've been advised by our attorney that I should excuse myself from the vote.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
And
Further, do I need to excuse myself from
yes,
the room?
leave the room.
I don't have to. Thank you. I'll listen.
okay.
You have to leave
The attorney has opined that the councilwoman does not have to leave the room during the
see-
discussion,
She don't?
but
She
not
does, she
voting.
said.
but she's not voting.
She
Oh,
cannot.
yeah.
any- At the training the other day, they said
Yeah.
not even being in the room. The Ethics Commission the other day.
Okay.
I'm being, my staff is advising me that you do have to leave the room. So my decision last year was probably right.
All right, Councilwoman Keys,
Bye.
enjoy your miniature vacation. And we will continue on with presentations by the CBOs. Each CBO will be afforded the opportunity to come to the microphone and speak for
If we want that.
for 2 minutes if
Are
they
we-
wish. They don't have to. But
we-
any CBO, before we have public discussion, let's let the CBOs throw their 2 cents down, and then let's open it to public discussion, then we'll come up for council vote. CBOs, is
Can
there any
I-
CBO who wishes to come to the microphone?
Can
You
I,
have to be an official representative of the CBO at this stage. CBOs
Miss-
only. Is there anybody from a CBO who wishes to come to the microphone?
hold on, Mr. Vice Mayor, through the city manager, Madam Sejour, you did not invite all of them here, right? So a lot of them may not be here.
We did notify all
Okay,
that
but
were
not
recommended for
required them to
award.
be here.
You should be here to speak on your item in the event that their question
In the
is
okay,
posed.
I see.
So
Okay,
they were clear that they had the opportunity to speak
All right,
at the
got it.
public hearing. So we have a list, Mr. Chair, from 1 to 12, if you want to follow that order.
Unfortunately, my
So,
internet is down on this computer, so I'm flying blind tonight, actually.
So that will be
Thank you.
helpful, so you can.
Okay. Thank you very much.
proceed.
We're going to start in order. It's just a numeric order, no particular order for that. The YMCA of South Florida. Anybody here from the YMCA? Y'all have the clock ready to run? Please identify yourself, name and address for the record, and tell us in 2 minutes or less why you wish to receive funding.
Hi, I'm Sue Loisel, 9275 Southwest 185th Terrace, Cutler Bay, Florida. The YMCA is here today to talk to you about our after-school program. We plan to provide services for 75 low to moderate income students in K to 5th grade who are residents of the city of North Miami at North Miami Elementary, Arch Creek Elementary, and Gratney Elementary. In your packet, you see the map of where the schools are located that we propose to serve. All 3 program sites are Title I sites, and over 95% of the children are on free or reduced lunch. A high percentage of the students need assistance in reading and math, and over 25% are 2 years or more below the grade level. The YMCA proposes that after-school programs make a real measurable difference in the lives of children, families, and communities by showing an increase in school attendance, increasing academic performance, addressing the needs of working parents who cannot pick their children up at 3, and thus increases their productivity at work, helping cities reduce juvenile crime, promoting healthy lifestyles, and addressing childhood obesity. Our target population is boys and girls between the ages of 4 and 12, and our program will be from 3 to 6, 5 days a week, except on Wednesdays we will start at 2. We have literacy enhancement, physical activity, life skills, homework assistance, and project-based learning. Our funding is for operational support for the 3 schools, and the opportunity for this grant, as well as the ability to seek additional funding support from public and private sources so that the families that enroll can receive a sliding fee scale based on their family income and household size so that they do not have to pay the full fees to enter the program. We do measurements in our program under physical fitness, literacy, and also family surveys for satisfaction.
Thank you, Ms. Loisel.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the next group that has the opportunity to present is the North Miami Foundation for Senior Citizens.
Hi, I'm Debbie Kleinberg, the Executive Director of the North Miami Foundation for Senior Citizen Services. Our organization has been providing services to the frail elderly in North Miami for the past 43 years. We provide social work assessment and counseling, home-delivered meals, transportation to the grocery store, homemaker, caregiver support, and volunteer services. Currently, with North Miami CDBG funds, we provide 2 meals a day, breakfast and lunch, 7 days a week to some of our frailest clients. Most are primarily homebound, unable to shop for groceries or safely prepare meals for themselves. They often have limited financial resources and are stretched to meet their most basic needs. Our goal is to provide meals and other services that will help them to spend their remaining days as they choose safely and securely in their own homes. In our application, we requested $10,000 in funding to provide 2,920 meals. Thank you for considering us for funding.
Thank you, Ms. Kleinberg. Our next presenting CBO, the Police Athletic League of North Miami. Anybody from the PAL want to come up? You don't have to. Okay. Nobody from PAL. Russell Life Skills and Reading Foundation. Nobody here tonight. Florida Immigrant Coalition. All right, please approach the microphone. Sorry for the delay there. Working on some procedural stuff. Please introduce yourself.
Good evening, Vice Mayor and Council. My name is Roberto Benavides, and my address is 12372 Southwest 10th Street, Pembroke Pines, Florida, 33025. I am the Citizenship Coordinator for the Florida Immigrant Coalition. And first and foremost, I want to thank you all for letting us be here and for your continued support of our citizenship program for the past 4 years. 2016, 2017 has once again being another successful year. We have been working in the neighborhoods of the city of North Miami, where we have had 4 great workshops for the 2016-2017 year, where we have provided assistance to the most vulnerable residents, of longtime legal permanent residents. About 70% of them have received assistance with fee waivers, helping them save about $725 of the government fee for their N-400 application, along with the savings of the cost of hiring and receiving legal advice from an immigration lawyer. We want to continue working for our community, and that is why we're here tonight. We want to continue educating our community about how to apply for citizenship and assisting them to achieve the dream of becoming a U.S. citizen, which is not easy, as most of you know. It still, for me, who I'm relatively new to the job, still one of the best parts of the job is receiving the calls from former applicants telling us and thanking us about the work that we're doing, because it allows them to become U.S. citizens. And we want to thank you for the opportunity to be here and for the opportunity to work with you all once again. Thank you.
Next, we turn to Prosperity Social and Community Development Group. Please introduce yourself and tell us about what you're doing.
Yes, good evening. My name is Nadaj Vilsaint, Executive Director for Prosperity. First, I would like to say thank you to the City of North Miami for your support over the past 2 years of supporting our adult literacy program. Our program continued to partnership with the City of North Miami Library, and our program continued to increase as we provide the parents with basic English skills and allow them to assist their children with their own homework, establish library cards at the library, attend family reading time at the library, and also utilize the same custom at home with reading to their children, and participate in different school activities in school and building their self-esteem and confidence to read to their own children. As we continue to increase in providing basic adult literacy to them, the City of North Miami has been our biggest support for the last 3 years, and we plan to continue working together with the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vilsaint. Our next organization is Experts Resource and Community Center. Anybody here from Experts Resource?
Good afternoon. Danny Felton, 600 Northwest 183rd Street, Miami Gardens, Florida. Thank you, Council, and we'd like to thank the City of North Miami for continuing to support our organization for the last 2 years. We are a 501c nonprofit HUD organization, which provide homebuyer education workshops as well as down payment assistance programs, as well as we provide financial literacy for adults and youth. We also assist the residents of the City of North Miami that are experiencing hardships in terms of foreclosure or potential loss mitigation. All of our services are free, as well as we offer those services in English, Spanish, and Creole. Thank you.
Thank you. I've been informed that Russell Life Skills was out in the lobby when they were called a few minutes ago, so we're going to ask Russell Life Skills if they would like the opportunity to come back to the microphone. Please introduce yourself, and you've got 2 minutes to tell us about your organization.
Thank you, and good evening, Council. My name is Naim Smith. I am the Vice President of Operations for the Russell Life Skills and Reading Foundation. My address is 14401 South Military Trail in Delray Beach, Florida. The Russell Reading Program has been in partnership with the City of North Miami since 2004 at Sunkith Grove Park, helping low to moderate income families. Russell Reading Rooms provide a safe, engaging environment that motivates, inspires learning outside the regular school day. We combine academic enrichment, cultural and recreational activities to guide and engage children in wholesome activities. Providing programs in a safe, engaging environment is our highest priorities. Our services include 7 principal elements: learning as our central mission, links between parents, schools, and programs, experienced professional teams led by school district personnel to supervise each program location, infrastructure partnerships, like with the City of North Miami, providing clean and attractive facilities, learning and program quality outcomes appropriate to after-school settings, and embracing accountability and measurable results, and partnerships for governance, sustainability, and improvement, like with the Community Block Development Grant. We have great examples of students starting the school year struggling in math, but with Common Core challenges, many students, but our students are very persistent, and each year they struggle to become proficient in reading, math, and other curriculum that they are assigned to between the grades of K through 6. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
You're welcome.
All right. Our next presenter is FAM, Haitian Women of Miami. Anybody tonight from FAM?
Good evening. Hello, good evening. My name is Aline Francois. This is Rolinda McCarthy. We are located at 100 Northeast 84th Street, Miami, Florida 33138. Basically, we're here to first thank you all for the recommendation for funding for our civic engagement project, which Rolinda will go into. Go ahead.
Hi, again, my name is Rolinda McCarthy. One of the key components to our program is our immigration and civic engagement components. For over 20 years, we have been providing services for over 600 members within the community, which 75% of them belong to North Miami. Part of our program is providing free services for application for citizenship, TPS assistance, and legal permanent residency. We believe that this is a two-tier process, so it's not just about having somebody know how to vote, but also to be part of the community, and that's where civic engagement comes in. We're teaching them how to be part of their community. One of the two of the key components that they have been engaged in has been a TPS extension component, and also understanding how developers are impacting their community. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, ladies.
Any questions? Okay.
We'll come back perhaps then. And then there were 9 organizations that the staff and committee recommended funding. That was the 8th of the 9. We now have the 9th recommended funded organization, St. La. Anybody tonight from St. La?
Good evening, Vice Mayor and Council. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Gypsy Metellus, 13390 West Dixie Highway, North Miami, Florida. So it's a great honor to, again, formally thank you for your support of the past 3 years. And what's especially nice this time is that St. La has moved to North Miami. And this 17th year of service, we're happy to continue to support low to moderate income residents of the city and ensuring that they achieve financial stability. And this is clearly through employment. And so again, I want to thank you and looking forward to our continued partnership. Thanks.
Thank you, Gypsy. All right, that concludes the 9 organizations that have been recommended for funding. Council members, do you want to hear from the other 3 that weren't recommended, if they happen to be in the room? Do you want to hear from them?
Yes. Irvin Thomas,
I don't, but
Kelly
go ahead.
Foundation, if they're here.
Okay, let's go in order. Academics Academy. Is there anybody in the room tonight? No. Walk My Shoes. Is there anybody here from Walk My Shoes? All right, then we'll move to the final organization, Irving Thomas Elite Basketball Academy. Anybody from Irving Thomas? All right, that concludes the 12 organizations that applied. 9 have been recommended for funding. Now we're going to open it up to public discussion. Public, you'll have 2 minutes each to weigh in on any or all of the organizations you wish, and then we'll come back to council. Public discussion is now open.
Hello, Karen DeLeon, 1935 South Hibiscus. They all sound great. I have familiarity with one, North Miami Foundation for Senior Citizens, since Carol's not here. I was a social worker there before I moved to the city. Actually, the work is amazing. It helps shut-ins get nutrition. Nutrition is key. Without nutrition, you'll have further and further issues that occur down the line. It creates a contact with shut-ins who usually don't have any family around to be checking on them. They can't afford the alert buttons and the like. We've been a major supporter of them for all these years. They bear our name, North Miami Foundation for Senior Citizens. I do hope you'll fund them. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who wants to speak on this?
Jessica Alston, good evening, 1140 Northwest 125 Street. I would like to see, in considering the community-based organization, some added criteria for selection. One, to include a site visit. This would prevent ghost services. Also, the request that they supply a participant list, those who are funded, as well as that there be an assurance that people in North Miami are given all people are given the opportunity to participate, whether on the east or the west side. So I would like to see this added to the criteria of considering who gets funded in community-based organizations. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Alston, just for clarification, these are federal grant monies that are given out under federal terms. We're not at liberty to add or subtract from what the federal government requires. Trust me, there are a lot of hoops that these organizations must jump through. If they don't complete the paperwork, they don't get the money. If they don't provide the service, they don't get the money. In fact, many CBOs don't apply for this simply because there's so much paperwork involved. I just didn't want you to sit here half the night worrying or wondering if we were going to add or subtract any of the conditions, because we're not at liberty to. It's pass-through money from the federal government.
But I'm talking about when the city staff does its recommendation and looks at the individual organizations, do they consider who they serve or if they are serving?
Sure.
Everything that Ms. Alston put on the record, we actually already do.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Burns.
Good evening. Kevin Burns, 2065 Alameda Drive. It's always difficult when this process comes before you, but I think the staff and the Planning Commission and the Review Board has done a great job. What I hope that doesn't happen tonight is that you take money from one organization to beef up another organization. The 9 organizations that are here are all qualified. They went through the committee process. They went through the Planning Commission. They went through the whole review. And the difference of the allocations of any of the groups is maybe $1,400 difference one way or the other. The lowest being $8,000, the highest being $99,000. averaging out about $9,000 a piece. You have a very small amount of money. All these organizations are very worthy of it, but something concerning, did you see how many organizations deal with students after school? Is there something wrong with our local school system that these kids need so much extra help? When we built those new schools, we held the school board accountable that they were going to make sure that North Miami schools were the best, that they were going to provide extra education. And we have written agreements to that. So we need to hold our school board accountable, and that outside organizations shouldn't have to be educating our students. The school board should be doing that, and that this should be a supplement. But without some of these organizations, these kids would be lost, I think, in the system. That's something us as a city have to address. But if you see the need, all these organizations needed more money than what we gave. And Mr. Galvin, as you just said, a lot of organizations do not apply because of the fact that the paperwork and the record keeping is very difficult, and sometimes it's not even worth the $8,000 or $9,000 that they get, costs you in more administrative costs. But if the city wants to help out at the next budget season and dip into your reserve a little bit and give these organizations a little bit more money, that would be a good thing. But I think they all deserve the money that you all allocated tonight. Thank you very much.
All right. Anybody? Yes. Mr.
Yes,
Prevotel.
William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. I'd like to pick up on that point there. I'm completely in support of sponsoring and funding all the organizations that were represented. We've seen this for a number of years, and there's always this sort of regretful moment that we don't have enough to give them. And yes, I understand they are federal funds. I've brought it up before, but I don't know why our city can't provide more funds more immediately, because you have the means of doing it. On February 14th, I provided all of you a list. I had a meeting with every council member and the city manager. Item 3 is to facilitate citywide zoning changes to benefit our community. And that would be such as for every floor that they go up.
We're not on. We're not under.
This
we're
is
on, we're
no.
only.
This is for the nonprofit organizations. It will get to that. Trust me. It was to give $1 per square foot per floor, and then second floor gets $2 per square foot, third floor, and so on. So it's sort of unlimited, but it's going to be stopped at some point because of the nature of the economics. What this would have meant, though, however, if you supported a measure like this, is that you would have potentially millions of dollars in the air that would be discretionary funds for our board, divided 20% each, which you could put into these nonprofit organizations, which you could double, triple, quadruple what you're giving now. It's there. You have it. On top of that, the proposal had local labor quotas, and also had the addition of green space for every bit of space that you're taking up with anything that's sort of a high-rise. It was a win-win proposal. I didn't hear back from anybody on it. Zero. And it meant millions of dollars to you and to our community. I think you should consider it. In addition to that, if you had new construction that was going up and someone was going to make a good investment, that building, that project is not going to require these services. So it takes out the strain from them, focuses the need, the money on those people that need it the most, that are most challenged in our community, and we could truly help those people. Please consider it. It was item 3. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prevotel. Anybody else wish to speak to the funding of the CBOs? Seeing nobody else rising to the microphone, public hearing on the CBOs is now closed. I'll turn it over to the council. Council, any suggestions, any motions, anything?
Suggestion, Mr. Vice Mayor, I must say I must commend staff and the panel review board. I thoroughly reviewed I briefly met with staff earlier and went over some of these application, and then I thoroughly reviewed a couple of them. Those who didn't get funded, it's that's why I commend staff. They really truly did a job, because when you look at the proposed project, the community needs, most of these organizations understand the community need, the evaluation, the background of the organization, everything was in tight. Mayor Burns mentioned something, why they are focused on youth in this area, and reading these CBOs narrative of the proposed services that they're trying to provide for the community, it's clearly we have a problem here in Miami-Dade County. And Mayor Burns, I know you're in the back, but I want you to listen to this. You did a wonderful job while you there, but somewhere along the line, Miami-Dade County have not kept up with the job. North Miami is the highest dropout prevention in the entire county. The county itself is 2.5%. Mass Academy is less than 5%. North Miami is 4.2 dropout prevention. So clearly we have a problem. I don't know how we address it. I know I'm having an organization meeting with the manager next year to see what we could do to try to breathe this gap. And no other high school well, there may be one or two, is as high as North Miami. So clearly we do have a problem. With that being said, Mr. Vice Mayor, I do want to make a recommendation to the panel. Every year, I know North Miami the Police Athletic League, PAL, comes to us, and this is one of our organizations. This is our own organization. So I am going to ask the board, if very kindly, if we would fund them and maybe go beyond that, maybe 20,000 within our general fund, aside from what they are getting. So because these organizations, they are already not getting much, and I see the recommendation that the panel was trying to do. If we do that, able to give PAL 20 instead of 15, from each of these organizations, the 9 could get 10,000 evenly.
You're reading from the wrong column. That's the request. You need to read from the awarded column.
Right. Which awarded column? I'm reading on the amount recommended. That's not that's not the column.
Yeah,
that I should be reading.
There's the amount requested
and then
the
amount recommended.
Yeah.
So
So
for
you're
instance,
quoting, the numbers you're quoting are from the amount requested.
No. I'm quoting my own amount.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, if we remove the PAL and we fund PAL right now currently was supposed to get 9,400. So we take that away. We give PAL 20,000 or 15 from our general fund. Now that's aside because I don't want them to think that we are taking money away, hurting them. That's not the point. We're trying to help these other, because PAL is our organization. That will leave $10,000 evenly to the other 8 organization, because it's 80,000 we have, and we could be done with that. If that would be that would be, reappropriate because some of them it's less than 100, like the senior foundation. The YMCA is only $100 less than 10,000. The senior foundation is 500, 600 less than 10,000. And then you have Russell. So if you just evened it out to 10,000 each, because we have 8 organizations left. Yes, Marie?
You have 9 organizations and
No, we took out PAL.
$80,000.
Right.
We took out PAL.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I believe the councilman is recommending doing is zero funding PAL tonight, and then taking their money and distributing it over the remaining 8 organizations so that they're closer to their full
To them.
threshold.
All even to 10,000. And then so you'll be at your 80, and then we'll fund PAL a little bit more
There'll be
to
a
the
li-
general.
There'll be a little less than the 10,000 because you have 9 organizations. That's what I'm saying.
No.
Dividing 80 among 9.
No, we take
Oh, it's
one out.
8.
Yes, you got it.
That's fine.
80,000
I got
over
it.
8 organizations,
Yes, I got
10,000
it.
each. And PAL, you better hope that the city council votes for you.
No. We would. I'm making a commitment. No. Even if that doesn't happen, Councilman Galvin, it will come from my personal money.
The council did the same thing last year.
I know we did the same thing last year, so I'm just trying to do to help them out. But we don't want to take PAL, because I don't want PAL to call me. In fact, I'm helping PAL out.
Right.
Because I'm giving them a little bit more than anticipated. So that's my proposal. I don't know if anyone would want to second it. Councilman Bien-Aimé.
All right.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Councilman DeSulme has voted that we award each of the 8 remaining groups beside PAL a total of $10,000 each, and that we put something else on the next council agenda to discuss funding of PAL. Is that correct? You need to do it. Okay.
Correct. Or to distribute the 94. How much it is?
Yeah, we'll leave out that. You figure out how you want to bring it back to us, but
distribute to the 8 organizations.
But Vice
Right.
Mayor,
for tonight,
you have to have the final say, because whatever the record says is whatever your motion is going to be right now.
well, Councilman DeSulme made the motion.
make the
Councilman
motion?
Bien-Aimé has already seconded the motion. I'm just clarifying
Yeah,
for the
we
record.
need to know what's
Right.
the motion.
What we're doing tonight.
I was. I
What
just
we're
had to
doing,
clarify.
what we're doing tonight is we're not giving any money to PAL, though we love PAL. We're going to take the money that would have gone to PAL and distribute it evenly through all the other remaining 8 organizations, meaning each of the 8 will get $10,000, taking up our full allotment of $80,000. And then
But PAL, do we put that? I don't want to be in
Where they get scared. Okay, I got you.
Okay, cool.
That motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Measure passes 3-0.
Can we call Carol?
All right. Councilwoman Keys, somebody wants to tell her she can come back in the room. Oh, we can't go through there.
You can call. You can call. Also can call we. Oh, Evan Thomas.
That makes sense.
All right. We're now moving on to tab L, which is a second reading of the land development regulations. Before we get into the full discussion, I just want to make sure, obviously, as I've noted several times and made passing reference to several times tonight, the mayor is on vacation. As a result of that, we've got a 4-person city council, and in the end, these very, very important land development regulations, which only come up every 7 years, these very, very critical documents must be approved tonight on final reading by a 4-0 vote. I just want to make sure that that's very clear. So despite the hours of debate and discussion and the back and forth we might have, if there is not a 4-0 vote tonight, the LDRs fail. It's not that they're postponed, they fail. Personally, I'm very disappointed that the mayor is not here tonight. He has an elected duty as a representative of the city to be here. For a gentleman who has long claimed that this is a city on the move, tonight he is the mayor on vacation, and he's put the city at a great disadvantage. I want to make it clear, it has to be a 4-0 vote tonight for the LDRs to pass. Also, if there are any parts of the LDR that we want to change by votes tonight, it has to be a 3-1 majority. It's perhaps going to be challenging to get to 3 votes on some things that the public might want to see added, changed, subtracted, or deleted from these LDRs. Oh no, I thought you were going to jump in. So, again, a 3-1 vote to make any type of amendment. 2-2 vote means that amendment fails. And a 4-0 vote in the very end to approve these LDRs. Now, fellow council members, we were debating 5 or 6 hours on this last time it came up. And I understand that people might want to bring back other points that we talked about at the last meeting and discuss and vote. I'm looking right now. We're not all going to be happy with every part of this document, I would imagine, in the end. But I also don't want to spend 6-7 hours debating it again tonight, only for one person to hold out at the end. If you think that you might hold out because you might be unhappy with some part of this LDR, please speak now, because we can still continue this to our next meeting when we will hopefully, if the mayor's not on vacation again, have a full city council. If you're willing to live with an imperfect document, or maybe in your eyes it will be perfect, but if you're willing to at least live with an imperfect document for the sake of moving the LDRs forward, fine. But if you think that you're not going to in the end, please speak now so that we can punt this to the next meeting. Is there anybody who feels they cannot live with an imperfect document? I'm talking to the council now. I know that we're going to get to the people, but before we're going to rip this wide open right now. We're going to be here for hours. Get ready. Put the little coffee on right now. We're getting ready to go. But again, if in the end we have an imperfect document and you don't agree with every single, and I say you, I'm talking about my fellow council members. These are the ones that vote. Speak now, because otherwise we're going to move forward. We're going to talk about it for hours. But I don't want to, I don't want to be here at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning again and have this fail 3-1, 2-2, because somebody said, well, I didn't like this little iota of it, so I'm voting against the full document. Okay?
Can I?
No, we're not, we haven't got there yet. We haven't got there, we haven't got there yet. Nope, nope. All right. I had heard that perhaps there was a member of the city council who might wish to declare a conflict to part or the whole of these LDRs. And if there is somebody on the council who wishes to declare a conflict, please speak now.
I would like to make a disclosure. It is not a conflict. I'm in the process of purchasing a piece of property. I was hoping to have purchased it prior to the LDRs, and I could have disclosed it. I will be making, I guess, when we all own property in the city, we all make votes on property we own. So I'm just going to disclose. I can't really say where the property is because it's still a pending matter, lawyer-client privilege. So I'm just going to say that. I have gotten a written opinion from my attorney disclosing exactly what I'm doing. The legal opinion is that I did not have to disclose it this evening and that I would be able to vote. I do not feel there's any conflict. I don't think that I will be voting on anything that's going to give this property, if I do in fact purchase it, a benefit that someone else wouldn't be having. So I just want to disclose it, but again, I do not feel it's a conflict.
All right. Thank you, Councilwoman. Mr. City Attorney?
I just want to make clear that the attorney that she's referring to is the city attorney. we
Which
gave
is
her,
you?
we gave her an opinion that she did not have to do that, but she did anyway, so.
Well, thank you for the transparency, Councilwoman. All right, we are now going to move forward with
Wait,
tab.
no. You asked a question. I haven't answered
Okay,
the
good.
question yet. I don't mind. I thought last week we had went through all this rigorous process of hours. I do not anticipate of doing that with maybe. I am flexible on minor changes to what we already done last week. And minor, I'm willing to compromise, but I don't want to go through the whole thing chapter by chapter again. No, we don't have to do that, do we?
My intent is to conduct this meeting just like it was conducted two weeks ago, where everybody gets a shot to go at Article 1, Article 2, Article
Again?
3.
Yeah.
Right, the public will have 2 minutes to weigh in on any section you wish. When we come back up to the council, each council member will get a chance to go section by section, 1 through 7, to make any new suggestions or changes. And as I understand it, even if we discussed at length, I don't know, some part of section 2 weeks ago, and somebody wants to bring it up again tonight and talk about the very same topic again tonight, we can and will vote and talk about that tonight. And again, that's where it gets tricky without the mayor being here. There were many provisions a couple of weeks ago which were voted up or down 3-2, 3-2. Tonight, those very same provisions, after another lengthy debate, could go down 2-2. So as long as everybody is comfortable with that and recognizes that, I'm ready to move forward, but we will have to address any point that is raised tonight, whether we addressed it last meeting or not.
Councilman Galvin,
Yes,
there are a couple issues that are important to me. And when I say me, important to my constituents, I think a lot of people are out there, they're concerned.
Can you use the mic?
Oh,
That's it.
Can you hear me? Okay, so there are a couple, I had last meeting, I had 12 matters that I brought up. A lot of them were just ignored, voted down or not. I have limited my main issues to 2, if you want to discuss them, and see if we can maybe amend them, come to an agreement. If we can't, then maybe you want to continue it, but I'm willing to try to.
Here's the point.
I'm trying to be transparent and open.
Right, but I don't want to, here's the thing, I'm running the meeting tonight. I don't want to have 6 hours of, everybody who's here tonight to speak on the LDRs, please raise a hand. So we're about to have lengthy public discussion, and if after they get their chance to speak and they're going to sit around here and hear our debate, it's not fair now if we feel that there's if you've got 2 sticking points and one of those sticking points is just you cannot move from that, that's fine. You're certainly allowed to not move. But the problem is if you don't move, for instance, the LDRs fail
Well,
because we can't get 4 votes.
Before we take a vote, then you'll know if there's sticking points, and I'll say, I can't budge on this. But we've got people out here that I'm speaking for, and I'm hoping that we can move forward, and I can convince whoever did not agree with me last time that these are important for the city. And I think
Okay.
we should make a chance. If we feel that we're not going to come to an agreement, then we can continue. But to just wait and hope that it comes out better with 5 doesn't make any sense either.
I'll go with the majority of the group, but I don't think it's fair to ask people to come sit here for hours and then punt and then come back a third time and sit here for hours for the discussion. If we know we're going to be here for hours, why not just do it one last time when we have a full council? So that's the only place I'm coming from, because I don't want to see people sit around all night to punt. And so
I also don't think it's fair to hold this off because we will not be back till the end of August. And we have,
it's incredibly unfortunate the mayor chose to go on vacation. While we're here having this debate, he's in the Isles of France or something like that. And again, I don't normally publicly call out a fellow council person up here, but I've been here 18 years. I have not missed a single council meeting. The mayor should have been here tonight. These LDRs come along once every 7 years. So let's, Councilman, do you have any druthers on what we do tonight, or you ready to just open it up?
No, I have about 2 or 3 items, and I'm willing to compromise and see if we can pass that tonight. And things we changed last week, 2 weeks ago, and we want to reconsider. And I think I'm okay with it that we move forward with the meeting.
All right. Councilman DeSuma, you ready to go?
Yes, sir. No, I don't mind going because with all this back and forth, I was under the impression that we did all this last week. So it's mainly some of the discrepancies we had up here, and I don't think it was a whole bunch because the mayor not here. So whatever that he had said, we had already voted on, unless we're going back and forth. So like I said, I am definitely open and willing to listen because all my changes I'm okay with, and I'm willing to listen to Councilwoman Keys to compromise somewhere. So I don't want to leave it where I'm definitely going to go in, but I don't mind to get started, sir.
Okay. We are now opening tab L, the LDRs, and we move to staff first for a presentation, and then we'll open up to public hearing.
I'm going to read it first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to read tab L. Proposed ordinance, second reading of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, repealing in their entirety Chapter 3 entitled Alcoholic Beverages, Chapter 20 entitled Tree Preservation and Protection, and Chapter 29A entitled Wireless Telecommunication Towers and Antennas of the Code of Ordinances in effect prior to the effective date of this ordinance, and amending Chapter 29 entitled Land Development Regulations in the form attached as Exhibit A, providing for an expanded regulations in the form attached as Exhibit A, providing for an expanded regulation in the form attached as Exhibit A, providing for and consolidated list of definitions of terms and clarification of powers and duties, establishing a new zoning appeals board, new zoning districts, and a new official zoning map to provide consistency with and implement the city's adopted 2015 air-based comprehensive plan amendments, and more specifically, the 2036 future land use map of the future land use element thereof, updating the consolidated table of permitted uses and the consolidated table of development standards, providing for new transition and sustainability design standards and more streamlined development-friendly procedural requirements in accordance with the applicable sections of chapters 163 and 166 of the Florida Statutes 2016, providing for repeal, conflicts, severability, codification, and for an effective date. Now, considering the fact that this is in fact a quasi-judicial matter, I am required to swear an individual in apparently including city staff, if they intend to speak on this matter. Again, it is considered a quasi-judicial matter. So if anyone in the public, including staff, is considering to speak on this particular item, tab L, please stand up to be sworn in by the city clerk. With your right hand up, repeat after. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. You may be seated. It's all yours, Vice Mayor.
All right, thank you very much. Please.
Good evening, Vice Mayor and council members. Debbie Love, I've been working with your city staff on the update to the LDRs. What you have before you is reflective of the changes that you all made at our last time we were together, along with some Scrivener's errors that we corrected, some numbering and things like that. So with that, I'll turn it over for discussion to see what you all would like, any additional changes or discussion that you'd like to have amongst yourselves.
That's your full presentation, Ms. Love?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to now open this up to public hearing. Now, I don't want everybody to be shy, and I don't want folks to play the game where you wait to the very end to jump up to try to be the dramatic last person speaking. So I'm going to ask that everybody who wishes to speak on this item who has been sworn in, please come to one of the two microphones and make a line or somehow gather in the middle right here so that we're not calling out anybody else, and then somebody jumps up from the back and comes running up at the end. I'm not going to call your name. So if you want to speak on tab L and you've been sworn in, please approach one or two of the microphones, and we're going to go with those folks who are risen to the microphone. If you're not in line, we're going to close it off at the end of the line. All right, Councilman Despinos, you have the floor. You have 2 minutes.
Vice Mayor, member of the council, city manager, and the staff. Jacques Despinos, 95 Northeast 131st Street in North Miami. Listen to Vice Mayor Galvin. You said tonight you have to have 4 votes. If you don't have 4 votes, everything is not only don't pass, but dead. Listen also to your colleague, Councilwoman Keys. She said she will not be able to vote in the item, so that reduced it to already to 3. I don't see how you get 4 there right from the starting. I was against when your guy voted 4-0 on Biscayne Landing. I said, well, I would like to see the 5 vote for a big project like this for all the residents of the city of North Miami. Some of you convinced me that was the right thing to do. But tonight I see the same conflict coming back worstly, because you said if you don't have 4 votes tonight, everything is dead. If that's what it is, I don't see the reason if any one of your colleagues know they're not going to vote for it, including my friend Carol Keys. I think it's better to pull that item for the next council meeting. That is fair, it's clear, it's a win-win for everybody. Right now, I don't see where you're going. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Alston? Yeah, we have 2 microphones, folks. Yeah, don't be shy. If you will, take turns so we can go back and forth between the 2 microphones. I think it'll just move things along a little quicker.
Okay,
Yes, Ms.
Karen DeLeon, 1935 South Hibiscus Drive. Somewhere in section 2, there's a residency requirement for folks sitting on the Planning and Zoning Commission, opening it up to people out that don't live in the city. We have, what 60,000 some odd people that live here. Can we not find people that live within the city to serve on the board that recommends what we're doing with our city? 4.302, plan development, reducing it to ½ acre. This one, I just really don't understand. To me, this is throwing out all the work you guys have done in terms of zoning and making it a free-for-all anywhere throughout the city. We could have a nightclub in our backyard. We could do so many different things. A half an acre is basically 2 people's properties. I don't see the reason for it. It's scary to me that you guys would consider this. We couldn't find anywhere else in the nation that this exists. I would love to see anybody voting for this, giving me an example of where this works. Lastly, 4.203, where we reduced the size of housing down to, 550 feet or something. There was an article in Monday's Herald about rental properties and the like, and they were talking about neighborhoods that attract people that want to live in small apartments, like New York City, San Francisco. And they're saying they don't know yet if that experiment even works here at Wynwood and Brickell. I don't want us to be part of an experiment. So if we're going to have small apartments, if we're going to decide that that might be something in certain corridors that work, then let's look at the certain corridors and let's make it a smaller percentage of the overall building in general. Let's not having one building devoted to little mini apartments, because that's not why most people come to live in North Miami. And if the experiment fails, what do those apartments become? Thank you.
Jessica Alston, 1140 Northwest 125 Street. First, I would like to say I feel cheated that we did not have a proper presentation of what the amendments or the changes were to the rules that we're talking about right now. I think it's totally inadequate. But let me say that I am opposed to changing the rules about alcoholic beverages and it to be maintained. We do not want as a resident of Suncrest Grove, do not want Suncrest 7th Avenue to become a Las Vegas Strip with massage parlors, casinos, and all types of human slavery or human exploitation. I'm opposed to the zoning, changing the zoning to making small living units, which is really planning for tenement houses, which are slums. I'm opposed to the removing the residency requirement for a person to sit on the commission. I'm probably using the wrong terms because I don't have a paper because you ran out of them. I feel that we are not prepared for this tonight, and you haven't adequately made citizens able to discuss this matter. And I would prefer that you put it off to the next time. We on the west side are entitled to the same benefits of life and community and happiness and joy as every resident of this city. And we do not want the satisfaction of our community to be diminished by gross
Thank you, Ms.
zoning.
Alston. Thank you, Ms. Alston.
Gross zoning in the change.
Thank you, Ms. Alston.
Bob Pashon, 13005 Coronado Terrace. It's a little tough to talk about a 600-page document in 2 minutes, so we'll try fast. The first concern is the Planned Development District, the PD. The zoning is designed to control and provide some thoughtful development in our city. That particular district is unique. It's designed to provide greater innovation and creativity. That's the definition. And because of that definition, it's got the broadest number of permitted uses available of any zoning district in the city. Because it's a big development, like Solomia, it requires more land. 7 years ago, this used to be a minimum of 5 acres. It was debated down to 2, and now we want to bring it down to the size of a pretty nice sized residential lot. We think it should be left at 2 acres because that's the requirement. Otherwise, it becomes a backdoor to spot zoning around the city. Anybody can go into a half-acre lot or a quarter or a 3/4 acre lot, decide to make it a PD, get the council's blessing, and put a nightclub in, put anything they want in. The second piece is the minimum size of a dwelling unit. Currently, it's 750 square feet. We want to reduce it to 550. If we're going to reduce it to 550, the suggestion is let's limit the number of units in a project so that no more than, say, 20% of a development can have small units. That way, if the developer's dream busts out and maybe the millennials don't show up, we don't turn it into low-income housing citywide. And lastly is, and I'm on the planning commission, so it's awkward to talk about it, but the residency requirement, the city council has a residency requirement. You guys need to not just be in the city, but in your district. So to allow people from outside the city to come in without any vested interest at all, Mark Twain said an expert is some guy from out of town. So please leave the residency requirement in.
Hello, I'm Marisol Medina from 1270 Northeast 123rd Street, 24th, I'm sorry, North Miami. So I'm gonna make points to some things randomly and then more specifically. So I'm a little concerned once the builders actually do come in that they might ask for a variance. And in so doing so, who's going to approve these variances that they go forward and want to change? If the building and zoning committee is gonna do it, I really don't want that because I feel like it'll be kind of behind doors. I would much rather you guys, who I can speak to, could deliberate on those variances that they might come in with. Another thing as I'm looking at is the M1 zoning. I'm a little concerned where it's currently being put on Northeast 12th Place to 13th Place and 122nd to 124th. I just battled that zone and it was commercial, and now they want to make it industrial. And that would bring what I just fought back in. And I really don't want that again. Let's see what else we have here. And then there's a line for where, sorry, first time, I get a little nervous. There's the line currently that where those design district was gonna roll in. I'm kind of wanting to see if we can push it back up to 124th and between 9th Avenue and 10th Avenue. And of course, I might be a little off on that. My friends will clarify momentarily. And the sizing that everybody's making reference to. Those properties are kind of small, and what's going to happen with the parking? Are they going to make their own below ground parking to accommodate all those new residents? That's pretty much all I have. Thank you, councilmen and women, for all your efforts.
Thank you, Ms. Medina.
Hi, Ileana Albarran, 849 Northeast 121st Street. And yes, there's a concern with the NRO line. We want to have an amendment to move it back from 123rd to 124th Street between Northeast 9th Avenue and 10th Avenue. And maybe have the CRA consider buying the property that's on there. It's 950 Northeast 124th Street to convert it into a much-needed park in the downtown area. Also, there's the line where the Arts and Design District is, and it would be nice to kind of clarify that, to maybe bring it down. It just wiggles around, and consider changing also the zoning for the murals in that Art and Design District so that we can have character. So that vote that you guys did, maybe consider the consequences of not allowing murals in the Arts and Design District. And I think that is pretty much it. I think there was something also about gravel driveways, that there is a need to consider the environmental impact of having gravel driveways, and we just agreed to uphold the Paris Agreement, and the objective facts that these driveways are good for the environment should trump any subjective concerns over whether they're attractive or not, and that should be concerned within the zoning and the LDRs. So yes, the driveways, the murals, and the movement of the NRO line back to 123rd Street to protect the residential integrity of the neighborhood, and consider buying that lot to convert it into a park. Thank you.